Oh. Hello, hello. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So right now, as a shuffle, I'm going to be doing a ClairTarot reading for the collective energy. I really don't know if this is supposed to be for any specific group, but yeah. I was going to start the zodiac readings, and then I was told, no, you have to do an energy update. And I asked, what is this update going to be about? And then it was like about how everyone's ass is clenched. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I actually never really know what's going on. I like to not know in advance. But it seems as though a lot of people are having some really intense stuff coming up. It's not necessarily a purging that's going on. Well, maybe a lower scale type of purge. But I was noticing even on my Facebook feed, I went to go check some stuff, some notifications. I just got to share this with you guys because it cracks me up. It says, I'm not saying you're a bitch. I'm just saying everyone was in a good mood before you got here. And that had me cracking up. And I was just like, oh my God, wow. And then the next post after that is two different people. I want a cactus in a cute little pot, and I'll name it after you because you're a fucking prick. I'm like, oh, what is going on with the energy? What's going on with the energy? And I don't think these people are posting it in an angry way or directed at anyone in particular. But it's really, I was feeling that this morning too. I had to question, like, is this my energy? Is this me? And then, that image of that thick ass man in a tutu. I'm just saying, thick ass man in a tutu. That's me. I'm feeling okay. What is my one phrase that I like to say? Mi sabor es muy salado. Muy salty. Extra salty. But yeah, no, I think people are starting to process with the Mercury going direct again. I think it was yesterday or the day before. People finally have a little bit of a break from that intense purgative energies from Mercury. And so you're kind of starting to process the feelings and the thoughts and all of that from this past, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks. So that's probably what's going on, but let's see, because I think some of us still have our ass clenched. I know I do. I'm just saying, my flavor is salty. Know what I'm saying? Mi sabor es muy salado. Facts. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people were having really odd dreams last night. I got quite a few people who were telling me about this, and I was just like, okay. I can't remember for the life of me what my dream was. I've been having really odd dreams lately, just like really odd dreams. Just odd, like me and random, I don't know. It's like really peaceful dreams. It's kind of odd to me. Me and my, the most oddest ones are usually of me and my divine counterpart just like doing domestic ass shit. Like not cohabitating, but just like doing domestic shit. Like we're BFFs and shit. I'm just like, What is this about? It's weird. It's weird to me. It's like legit weird. So that's been for, I don't know how many weeks that's been. I'm just like, stop. This shit's weird. You're reading me out. All right. So card number 41. Bring it into form. I think with Mercury lifting its BS time. With Mercury lifting its energies, going direct, a lot of us are starting to understand what it is we're walking away from and what we're walking towards. Okay. And that's going to be different for everyone. That's definitely going to be different for everyone. But just understand that you are walking away if you're walking away from things that are no longer in alignment. Okay. A lot of energy shifted over the past few weeks. The things that needed to end, the things that were just unnecessarily hurting you were allowed to end. And now you're allowing yourself to walk forward, not necessarily to someone else, but to a higher potentiality for your own personal journey. Okay. We don't really know what's in store for us. We kind of just have to go with it. So we're going through an ascension process, the spiral, that Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, card number 50. The spiral is the path that soul takes. And you're walking that spiral at this point. As a part of that spiral, card number 7, forgiveness. Now, I have really specific views on forgiveness, and they totally don't. People are like, what? I believe that we shouldn't participate in this forgiveness paradigm. And I'm going to explain that, okay? Because people are like, what do you mean? Just hold a grudge? No, I'm not talking about holding a grudge. I'm talking about recognizing that everything that happens to you is happening for you, for your growth. You might not agree. It might be something very harsh. It usually is painful if you're getting upset about it. But that pain is the greatest teacher you'll ever have. And so when people ask me about my personal views on forgiveness, I feel like it's not necessary. I feel like you have to recognize that everything in your life is a lesson, and figure out what the lesson is and stop fixating on someone outside of me did this to me. No. There were things agreed upon before you came into vessel. Do you know what that is? Probably not. Do I know what that is? Probably not. And it's not for the human mind to fully understand and know every event before it happens or even as it's happening. The whole point of this is for you to allow yourself to be fully present and experience clarity. Full 2020 vision usually is only gained after the event is done, in retrospect, hindsight. And so with the forgiveness thing, and I'm not telling you that you're wrong if you want to forgive. I'm just saying my point of view is very different. The way I see it is very different. I don't participate in that paradigm because of the fact that in order for me to forgive you, I have to first identify myself as having been victimized by you, that you were able to dominate me and do something to me that I didn't at some level, in some way, shape, or form, give you permission to do. And so I can't forgive you if I don't have any inkling of being somehow victimized. Does that excuse what you did to me? No. If you did something that hurt me, if you intentionally tried to do something malicious directed at me, I have every right to feel whatever I feel. And then I need to put on my big kid panties or briefs and process that shit. You're no longer a part of it. You did your part. You triggered something within me that's going to now encourage me to learn whatever that lesson the circumstance was delivering. You can be excused. I don't need to learn this shit again. Am I mad at you? No. Do I need to be like, thank you so much? No. This was something we agreed upon. There's no victim. There's no victimizer. This is just you're no longer a necessary part in this lesson that I'm going through. So you go about your life. I don't wish you harm, but I don't need to keep that toxicity here either. Okay. I just don't. So that's the whole forgiveness thing. Do you want to continue participating in that? Do you need to forgive someone? Do you need someone else's forgiveness? You know, that's like saying you need permission to continue existing. Do you? Some of us feel like we do. Other of us feel like we don't. There's no right or wrong. It's just really where you're at in your journey of inner, under, and overstanding of self and soul. Okay. So card number 42, South Node, life's debts. Ooh, that karmic shit. Okay. Let's see. Card number 42. 40 water. Da, 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 da. Okay. Karma, when properly understood, is just the mechanics through which consciousness manifests. That's what I'm just talking about. You know, people are like, well, I have to ask for forgiveness or else I'm loading up karmic debt. And it's not. Karma is miasmic distortions within your morphogenetic field. If you are going to misuse or irresponsibly use your sovereign free will, then it creates distortions. It freezes that segment that was attempting to ascend, and then it's stored for later. Because if you haven't passed that test, if you haven't learned that lesson and passed that test, of course, they're not going to promote you to the next level, right? So you're going to have to retake that class later on. That's all karma is. It's not punishment. It gives you the opportunity at a later time, space, life, whatever it is, to learn that lesson. Okay. So this represents a karmic point in our charts where certain matters must be discharged or cast off cast off in order to develop and move on toward greater things. Ooh, it's a dragon's tail. And this is where most past karma lies in the astrological chart. What if this is the cycle where so many of us are now looking at the ledger, okay, our life ledger, our soul ledger, because it's not just this life. What if this is the life where many of us have decided, okay, let's go back. We're going to take a spiritual accounting class this time. This is the lesson we're all going to be in. And all the things that we kind of were not working on in a previous life that we kind of shelved, put on hold. Let's let all of that shit come forward in this life. Maybe. So all the cycles that we're continuing, and that would be this. That would be this. That would be this. I think that's what the fuck's going on. I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on. For those that are resonating, I think the primary message is that your ass is clenched because you're refusing to recognize this is nothing more than a rung in the spiral. This is a part of the steps that are necessary to rise up in your understanding that as you step your way up, you are releasing, you are paying the debt for that step. So let's see. A major turning point. This is a period to maximize the advantages of these changes. Difficult though they may seem now, you will want to leave your comfort zone and make as many new contacts as you possibly can. Let's see. Blocks and obstacles, especially now, are letting you know you're not on the right or golden path. So if you are trying to really just push your way through, just bulldoze through this period of your life, especially this period of astronomical alignment, it's not going to work. 59% at 1144. 5 plus 9 is 14. 1144. 141144. Repeating patterns. 141414. 8 of wisdom. Let's see. That's the wrong book. Wrong book. All right. 8 of wisdom. Have you guys been feeling kind of a little bit catty? little bit emotional. I'm feeling someone. Eight of Wisdom. Let's see. Practicality, a legacy, purposefulness, apprenticeship, scholarship, equality, modesty. Okay. So the character implied in this card may have a tendency to be heavy-handed, charging ahead without always thinking. Ooh, that's you. All of these are you. So this is your monkey mind. These are the fractals of your soul. This is basically what I was just saying about how you can't just bulldoze through this. You can't look at all your poor fractals are like, we're going to get bulldozed. You can't bulldoze through this. Don't be heavy-handed in your judgment, your condemnation of yourself, because you really have no idea the events that led to whatever it is you're contemplating at this point. You have no idea. If it's past life stuff, you're only given a snippet. You don't remember the whole thing. You'd be very hard pressed to find an individual who remembers the whole thing. Okay. I'm telling you, you'd be very, very hard pressed to find someone who is consciously aware of all of the events in previous lives that affect this life. So that attempt to try and control and force, it's a very toxic thing. Okay. It's a very toxic thing for you. It's a personal toxicity. Card number 25, release a dark wound, let love live. Let that go. Let go your want. It's not a need. It's a want to hold on to things, to punish yourself. Because this is what we're taught from childhood. We're taught this, where, you have to be serious all the time. Life is not a joke. I beg to fucking differ. Life is not a joke. You have to be serious. If you're not serious, you won't get anywhere. You were born flawed. You can't do anything right. You don't know yourself unless you follow the herd, unless you allow yourself to perpetuate that herd mentality, the hive mentality. You're going to be an outcast, and then you're going to be alone. And we don't even recognize being alone is a punishment. We're taught this. Well, what's up? People are like, oh, you cannot spank a child. That's child abuse. I mean, I have varying opinions about this. I don't spank my children, but I mean, if they were to ever do something that made me feel a spanking is warranted, then yeah, they will get spanked. I don't necessarily feel like spanking is the best option, but all children are different, right? So why would we try and force specific parenting styles on every child? It doesn't work. So sometimes spanking works for one child and not for the other. Well, what about timeout? We think, well, timeout is more peaceful. So we're like, you did bad. I'm pissed at you. Go sit in the corner and be by yourself. I'm punishing you. Because oftentimes when we put kids in timeout, that's what we're fucking doing, right? I subscribe more for timeout, but I don't tell my kids that. When they were still needing timeout, I wasn't telling them that. It was like, look, I don't think you understand the gravity of the circumstance you're co-creating. Why don't you go take some time and think about this? And if you need help trying to formulate the thoughts, let me know. But I'm going to need you to remove yourself from this circumstance because I don't think you're fully grasping what's going on. And so my kids understand certain things. And I look at other children and, other parents when I was surrounded by people who had young children like me at the time. They were like, oh, so you don't spank, so timeout works? And then I would see them grab their kid. Sit down. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Do I need to fight on their behalf? Like, what the fuck? Sit down. And like just a lot of, I have been at times spoken harshly to my children. If you're not going to hear me when I'm talking a regular tone, then sometimes you have to use a forceful tone. But for that to constantly be the reaction, you're teaching, you're programming the child alone time is punishment. You're being ostracized. And for me, alone time is so fucking delicious. I'm just saying, alone time, I'm always alone because even in a room full of people, I'm just all up in here, like observing and seeing how I'm co-creating stuff. And what we've learned is that being alone is like a no. But you've never been alone. You have so many different aspects of yourself. You've been fractionated so much to experience so many different lifetimes and then coming back together that you've never really been alone. And we refuse to let it go. You know, we refuse to let that go. That pain is our companion because we're so afraid to be alone with our thoughts, alone with our, you know, ability to kind of parse through everything, see what we need to actually look at. So card number 33, magic. Notice some of the most powerful cards are of people being alone. You know, it's very magical to be able to stand on your own, to sit by yourself, to kind of just be in your own thoughts. You can't fully stay there, of course, but it's definitely something very, very magical. You have to allow yourself to dive deep into your own waters, to dive deep into your heart's ocean. You also have to have a sense of humor. Seriously, true spirituality, those who have actually made significant headway with their spiritual evolution, development, have developed senses of humor. You know, those who are, and this is not a condemnation. This is a very objective observation. When people are like, no, why is this is not a joke. This is spirituality. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I find it fucking funny. I just find this shit funny. You take yourself so serious because you're so rigid that when I go to strike you with my truth, your whole world's going to crumble. That shit's going to be hilarious. Because then we're just going to be playing in all the crumbles like it's sand. You know, we play together. But until you get to that point, everything's serious, right? Why does it have to be serious? Because you have to prove you're right. Because you need to put on this show, this outward appearance of knowing. You know, if we're going to be really honest, the more you know, the more you realize how little you actually know. It would be very foolish of anyone, myself included, to think that a human mind could ever have enough to get the totality of creation. I don't think so. Not even after multiple lifetimes. I think the human mind is just unable to go beyond 53% at 1153. The human mind is so limited. It's so limited. I mean, the fact that you can't accept that it's okay to laugh and you're still spiritual, it shows me how limited your perception is. Does that make you less than? No. It's just a recognition that, okay, you don't think I should be laughing. All right, you probably have a very specific, very limited perception of spirituality and the actual natural path of a soul. So let me just not try and force my thoughts on you. You're not ready for the truths that I've uncovered for myself. Let me just stay here and keep laughing. Have a sense of humor. Get the stick out your ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have a stick up your ass. I'm not sorry that I said that because some people need to hear that. Card number 28, roots, 4th house. Where are you rooted? Are you rooted in a place of knowing that you don't know everything, and that's okay? You don't need to know everything. Like I tell my kids, because we homeschooled for most of their life, when they're struggling with a lesson and they're getting frustrated because they're ridiculously intelligent. I'm such a proud mama. My kids are fucking ridiculously intelligent. And they get frustrated because for the first time, oh shit, it's not super easy, like brand new work. I don't just know it and we're done. I actually have to start thinking about it a little bit. And then they're like, I don't get this. I'm so stupid. I'm like, actually, no, don't insult me like that, because half of you came from me and I'm not stupid. And secondly, if you already knew this, we wouldn't be doing the work. That's why we're doing it, because you don't know it. And the whole point of this is to give you an opportunity to know it. So if you can kindly just calm down, okay? Calm down and show me where you don't understand. And maybe we can figure it out together. Because if you already knew it, you wouldn't still be doing it. And that helps them to really understand, like, okay, this is a group effort. We're doing this together. You know, I'm not alone in this. I'm not being condemned for not knowing. That just because I come across an obstacle, that doesn't diminish my worth. And they're rooted in their truth. Their truth is they're here to learn. This life is a life of learning. And as long as you're breathing, you're learning something. You're learning something from the people you interact with. You're learning something from just watching other people. You're learning something whenever you fail, whenever you make a mistake, you're learning something. And no one gets to destroy you for what you perceive to be your shortcomings. Those shortcomings are nothing more than steps. And I hope they're getting it. I really hope they're getting it. But many adults don't get this. And sometimes, I'm sorry, guys, I use adults as examples. Sometimes I tell my kids, you realize there are some adults that are in their 80s and 90s and they never figured this part out. And you're only how old, and you're trying to figure it out right now. You're trying to figure out the healthiest way to cope. And so you're so far ahead of the game, because this is a game of life. You're so far ahead of the game. I'm going to need you to give yourself a little break. Okay. It's not that serious that you need to be trying to beat out 90-year-olds. Let them have their little time. Okay. I love you as certain dark things are to be loved in secret between the shadow and the soul. This is my most favorite poem ever. Pablo Neruda. Let me just read that one more time. I love you as certain dark things are to be loved in secret between the shadow and the soul. So why don't you love these shadow aspects of yourself? Why don't you begin allowing yourself to exist in a totality? Stop trying to ace the test. Stop trying to make it seem as though you know everything. Allow yourself to recognize when you're struggling to learn a lesson, and maybe those aspects hidden within the shadow, the parts of you that you love in secret. So secret that even you don't know this, you don't remember it. Allow yourself to be loved by those parts of you. Allow yourself to have enough of a sense of humor to recognize when you're playing a trick on yourself. When you're trying to convince yourself you're something that you're not. And I tell my kids this as well. Why do you keep trying to convince yourself that you're not as smart as you are? Because I'm not going to believe that lie. I don't know why you would think you would believe that either. Why are you trying to force yourself to believe a lie? Obviously, you're smart by anyone's standards. Obviously. And sometimes they listen and sometimes they need a little more time to process. And that's how people are. They're not just children, they're people, small people, but still people. And so when you need more time to process, when you're hearing these things and it's resonating, and then you go through the event and you're like, see, I am stupid. Emmy said this, and then it sounded right. It felt right. And then I'm still fucking up. And it's like, no, because you haven't given yourself permission to let go of that old circumstance. You're still trying to fit yourself in a box that was never designed to contain the greatness that you are. So your question may somehow be rooted in the past. What happened in the past? What happened in the past to convince you to believe the lie that you believe at this point? The lie about yourself, the lie about the world. 48% at 12 o'clock. 12, 12, 0, 0. We are on the journey right now. We are taking those steps forward. We are taking those steps forward, okay? We are letting go. We are emptying both hands. 0, 0, the point of origination. Our hands are empty, okay? There you go. Parent beat it into me, okay? What are some other reasons? What are some other reasons that you believe these things that you believe about yourself? And once you get these other reasons, I want you to ask yourself, why am I still continuing with it? Because for the most part, I mean, even if your parents did beat that into you, are they still beating you? Do you still have to comply with that? Are you still that child? Are you still helpless? Are you still unable to fend for yourself? Are you still dependent? Maybe that's it. Maybe there's this part of you that fails to realize the codependency factor. They need you and you need them. So they need you to continue to perpetuate this storyline that they've created for you. And you need them to accept you, so you're going to continue to perpetuate that. See how that spiral goes? It keeps going and going and going, right? Kind of like a whirlpool. And there you are throwing yourself into it. Don't throw yourself into it. Ooh, there is both gentleness and emotional rawness in the 4th house. When this card shows up, home and family issues may have something to do with the issue. All of your relationships are nothing more than a continuation of relationships, friendships, family, whatever, from your past that are unresolved. All of them. All of them. You'll see you create these patterns and you continue with the patterns, not realizing these are nothing more than patterns, cycles. And when you pause, when you allow yourself to be silent and still by yourself with no distractions, and this is why we're taught that being alone is punishment, because they don't want us to have no distractions. People ask me, Emmy, how did you come to the awareness that you came to? Because I was left alone a lot as a kid. Yeah. You know, both my parents worked tremendous amount of hours, and I have quite a few older siblings, and they were being grown kids. They wanted to go out with their friends. So, you know, they knew I wasn't going to burn down the house. They knew I wasn't going to freaking chug bleach. Like, don't break shit. Don't set the house on fire. We'll be back later. And so I was alone with my thoughts quite a bit. So when I say I've always been this way, it's because there was no one there to undo and try and convince me I'm something that I'm not. And so when there were situations that tried to dominate me, people who would come and try and tell me that I have to do this, I have to do that. No, my sovereignty is intact. You don't tell me what to do. You ask me. You ask me to assist. And so it's such a beautiful thing when you can be comfortable with just you, when you can be your own best friend. Because I had a really hard time making friends, not because no one liked me, but because I was just really socially awkward. Like, it gave me a lot of anxiety having to interact with other people. And so it taught me to really be my own friend, to really listen to myself. And I would have a lot of conversations within myself. And that really helped to shape my thoughts about the world. So here goes. Sorry, guys. So this is the Emperor card. The Emperor encourages forthright judgment, stability, authority, fatherhood, intellect, forward momentum, solidarity, reason, conviction, authority, accomplishment. We keep talking about allowing yourself to be alone. I mean, all of this is waiting for you in that alone space. Are you going to reclaim that? Are you going to? Or are you just going to leave that unclaimed? So we also have, here we go. Knight of Wisdom in reverse. The Knight is there to help, to guide the steps of the credent and to offer advice whenever it's needed. Your higher self wants to guide you. Bottom line, higher self wants to guide you. So in reverse, this is about peace, sleepiness, apathy, inertia, stagnation, idleness, discouragement. These are the negative thoughts we have about alone time, about sitting quietly and not doing anything. I mean, I have them myself. I was sitting quietly, not doing anything earlier, except kissing the shit out of my dog. I'm not ashamed. I was kissing the shit out of her face. And she loved it. And I was just thinking about all these things about childhood, myself, my journey as a mother, everything. I was just thinking about it and just cuddling her and kissing her. And then there goes the monkey mind. Once I recognized what I was doing, the monkey mind's like, you're such a time waster. You've just been doing nothing. And then I got up and then soul goes, that's it, go live. What? Why? I don't want to go live. Yeah, no, that's why. That's why I had to go live. Because I'm still going through these cycles and it's okay. I don't have to beat myself up. I don't have to be like, oh, you're so blah, blah, blah. I mean, blah, 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 blah. Oh, wah, wah, wah. No. Okay. I had that moment. It's been corrected. Card number 5, follow your own rhythm. No one gets to tell you what to do. No one gets to set the rhythm of your heart. Have you ever tried to dictate how a heart will beat? Someone else's heart? I mean, my mom, the last year of her life, I spent so much time with her in the ER. And a lot of that because she had arrhythmia. And the doctors would be trying to control her heart rate. It would go really high and then go really low. And finally, sitting in that ER is like our 3rd or 4th ER visit in like 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, what are you doing with your heart? And she goes, nothing. Exactly. Why don't you dictate to your heart what you need? Or maybe listen to your heart. What is your heart racing for? What is it trying to do? What is it trying to achieve that is so fast? It's rushing, rushing, rushing. What is it rushing towards? And she goes, I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe you need to find that out because all your organs are tied to an emotion. And the moment she began talking to me about her heavy thoughts that she wouldn't really say to anyone, her heart would regulate itself. I'm like, do you not see what it does to your vitals when you stop with that internal war? Maybe the heart rate is because you're at war within yourself. Why don't you start talking about stuff? Well, I don't want people mad at me. Who gives a shit, Mom? Who gives a shit? You've lived your whole life with people misunderstanding you and mad at you for things they don't even fully understand about you, assumptions, miscommunications. How did that help you? Well, I just don't want people mad at me because I don't want to, do this and that. Okay, well, if you don't want to do something and you can't find the courage to say it, you just do one simple hand movement. She goes, what's that? Oh, don't do that. Why? What's wrong with this? It's a finger. It's a finger. And I grabbed her hand, I put her finger up, and you go like that. And if you can't lift that finger up because of your deficit, use your other hand. If you don't want to use your other hand, use both fucking hands and hold that shit up. And she was just like, oh, you're so bad. Yes. But do I have heart problems? No. she's like, oh, like this? Yeah. We know she you go like this first. I said, no, you're not pointing it at yourself. Turn it around. No more of this. Turn it around. And so when she would get mad and it would help her heart rate, I'm like, that's right. Poke them with it, Mom. Poke them with it. Like, fuck your thoughts. Push it back at them. Push it back at them. And that's what you have to do. You have to live with humor. You have to follow your own rhythm. You have to be your own knight in shining armor. Okay? You have to. You have to do all of this for yourself. So that spiral can go up towards your higher level of dimensional consciousness versus down, or even worse, just in place, spiraling in place. That sucks. Up or down, it doesn't matter. Okay. Deeper into your truth, up towards your greatness, doesn't matter. When you're just spiraling in place, well, what the hell are you doing? That's wasted potential. Card number 9, potential. Allow yourself to tap into your potentiality. It's that simple. Allow yourself to tap into the potentiality. You don't even have to know what it is. Okay? You don't have to know what your potentiality is. You don't have to understand. You just have to allow yourself to plug back in, hardwire plugged in to your potential, not to the recording that you've been playing over and over and over, and that's caused you to be spiraling in a circular, stagnant motion. No, it's time for you to rise. It's time for you to card number 46, Grand Trine Blessings. It's time for you to rise up and reclaim all your blessings. That's just that. Reclaim it. Take it all in. Just take it all in. Oh my God. So the Pachamama card, right? Card number 40, Pachamama. Higher self tells me, look at the clock. Let them know we're anticipating a moment. And here it is. 39% at 12:12. 82 watchers, 24 thumbs. 8, 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. So 8, 8, 12, 12, 12. Reunification on all levels, in all ways, as we go forth on our journey. Wow. And our journey is here on the surface of Pachamama. 4 is the number of self. 0 is our point of origination. You're back at square one. What are you going to do? Every day you go back to square one. What are you going to do? Consciously choose to repeat a fucked up day from yesterday? A fucked up year from how many years ago? Actively choose to continue allowing the wounds of childhood to fester? I mean, these are choices we're making. You can't keep watching my videos and think that I'm going to allow you to say, but I had a fucked up childhood. You know, every single last one of us has a sob story. Every single last one of us has a sob story. And for those people that you think don't have a sob story, they probably just hide it better than you. For those people that you're like, oh, but they grew up rich. Yeah, really fucked up shit happens behind rich doors too. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Just because their life is different doesn't mean they don't have childhood trauma too. Just because their trauma is different than yours, it doesn't make it any less traumatic. Just because their trauma can be hidden away behind a gilded cage doesn't make their trauma any less painful. It doesn't. Every single last one of us has trauma from childhood, young adulthood, even adulthood. Every single last one of us has a sob story. Every single last one of us. So Pachamama represents the unconditional love that the earth has for all her children, including the stones, the plants, the animals, and humans. She is the goddess of earth, also known as Gaia, who pervades all creation in our planet. Thanks to Pachamama, our timeless soul can experience life in a biological way. The joy and pain we taste during our brief time on earth are invitations to discover the boundless love of Pachamama. You are a child of the earth. Now is the time to eat right, love right, and be joyous regardless of the circumstance you may find yourself in. Be grateful for your life, your body, and all that nourishes you. Pachamama invites you to relish each breath, embrace your joy and your pain equally, and discover love through both. Let Pachamama know how much you appreciate all her blessings with an act of service, such as planting a tree, helping save an endangered species, or protecting the ocean. You still believe that you've been cast out of the Garden of Eden, that you are motherless and homeless. You suppose that you need to work very hard to survive or thrive. It's time to stop suffering. Let go of that old myth and realize you were given the garden to rejoice in and to become its steward. Your melancholy is really a longing to return to the heart of Pachamama. Listen deeply to the mother who's always there for you. Walk in beauty and honor all life, especially your own. Okay, especially your own. We oftentimes allow ourselves to fall victim to this notion that we must protect the animals. Humans are animals. We are part of the mammal family. We are animals. Animals. You too are an animal. You too need to make sure that you're taken care of, kept safe, protected. That's beautiful. Michael says to remind you, there is only one of you, and because there is only one of you on this earth at this moment, you too are an endangered species and deserve to be protected as one. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. We forget that. We often forget that, and we think, no, you know what? I think some of us forget it, and I think some of us choose not to see it. Some of us would prefer to be separate from the animal kingdom, because then it kind of forces us to accept that we deserve love too. We deserve protection as well. We deserve to live in an environment that's not toxic, and some of us are not done punishing ourselves. Some of us are not done punishing ourselves. Some of us can thrive off veganism, a vegan diet, plant-based diet, and I think that's beautiful. I honestly do. I actually really, really love the concept, the morality of a vegan diet. I, however, cannot sustain it, and I punished myself. I was vegan for about 6.5 years, and I made myself very, very sick. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm very good at researching what the body needs, supplements, all of that. And I took all of that. Okay. I wasn't B12 deficient. It wasn't some sort of deficiency. It was a lack of acceptance that this animal, identified as Emmy, is not compatible with that dietary program. And it's a program. It's a preference. So as I was advocating for the life and health and safety of all animals, I continued to abuse the most significant one in my journey. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And, I'm not saying veganism is bad. I'm not saying no one should be vegan. I'm saying listen to your body. If you can't sustain a dietary preference, why are you continuing it? To protect the animals? You are a fucking animal. You're one of the animals. You're one of the animals. It's like we've separated ourselves so much from all our cousins here on this earth, Like, oh yeah, protect animals. What about the human animals that have no food abroad, third world countries, in your streets? Homelessness is ridiculously exploding. What about those animals? And we're here advocating for all kind of other stuff. Well, what about your own species? We're animals too. This is about recognizing when you begin to really step into your spirituality, you no longer see that separation. You no longer have like, okay, well, this group is right, this group is wrong, this is what we're doing. No, yes, no, no, separate, 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 separate. The segregation has to stop. We thought we ended that segregation a couple generations ago, and we didn't. It was just an outward expression of an internal segregation. Even our healthcare segregates a whole being. How are you going to achieve whole being wellness when you've segregated the body into different organ systems? Well, one organ system will absolutely affect the other organ system. It's a whole unit. It's a whole unit. So now we have to really begin looking within ourselves. We have to unclench our ass so that stick will fall out. Let that stick fall out. Stop being so staunch in your beliefs that your beliefs are the beliefs. You know, things I believe today, right now. Ooh, 32% at 1221. 321 221. And see how that works? 321 2 plus 1 is 3. 3. 3 2 1 2 3. 3 2 1 2 3. Back and forth we go. From foundation to guidance to singularity to guidance to foundation. Like we are a stair-step creation. Okay? Whatever you think about your own little microcosm, you expand it and you'll understand this is going on worldwide, globally. Okay? We have to begin somewhere. So begin with yourself. Make sure you're your priority. Make sure that you are defending yourself and advocating for yourself the way you would for the people and animals, beings, ecosystems that you are so vocal about advocating for. Very simple. Very, very simple. You begin to heal your own environment and it creates a ripple of change affecting everyone else's environment that comes across your path. And this is why every single one of us are the change that we are seeking. Except we keep trying to find it outside of ourselves. How are you going to find something outside of yourself if everything outside of you is a reflection of what's inside of you? So change what's inside you. Change it. Are you changing it because you're wrong and flawed and broken and wounded? And no. You're changing it now because as you know better, you do better. Now that you know better, you are obligating yourself to do better, choose better, live better, love better. Where you're starting to recognize you're a part of the very group that you're here to love. You've never been external from it. You just haven't. You haven't been external from it. I hate to break that to you, empaths. I hate to break that to you. It is kind of like a tower moment. That Tower of Babel. Thinking that building it all the way up. Thinking that everyone has to, speak a single language. There's beauty in diversity. There's power too. If you look at life as like a board full of numbers, right? It's a board, or let's make it a chessboard. Yeah, let's make it a chessboard. So on a chessboard, every place has a specific player that occupies it. How does that work if we're all like, a pawn? How does that work? We can only move one square at a time, right? How does it work if we're all just a rook? I mean, the rest of the board is empty. The rest of the board is empty. And as pawns, if we allow ourselves to all remain simply a pawn on a chessboard, when someone comes at us sideways, when they try and slide through diagonally, they take us out, right? So what happens? Now, what if we allow ourselves to be unified in our diversity, allowing ourselves to be the different players positioned in different places, with one not being any more important than the other? You get a very good chance at a very solid, stimulating game, because this is what life is. Life is a game. You're either going to have fun or you're going to sit on the sidelines and be sour. Mi sabor es muy salado. Salty ass mofo. I'm just saying, checkmate, check, check. So just let all of this shit sink in. See how it fits the truth as you know it to be. See if it's something that resonates with you as your own truth. You don't have to take everything I say as though it's the word of God. I'm a human being having an experience and merely sharing it with you. These are just my personal opinions coming forth as cards come up. But you got to unclench that ass if you don't want the stick up there. And in reality, though, if you got to stick up your ass because someone pissed you off, hey, you know, the people who are standing before us are nothing but mirrors. Mirrors of who we are in this moment, who we were in the past, who we're striving to be, and our opinion of what that reflection is. That's a hidden feeling about hidden aspects of yourself. It truly is. A lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, you're so loving. You have such a beautiful heart. I'm like, boo, I'm just a reflection of you. It's resonating with you because you are recognizing I am reflecting the beauty within you. The beauty that you keep saying isn't beautiful because someone convinced you that it's not. 27% at 1227. 939. This is a solid foundation, flanked by divinity. I'm just saying, learn to appreciate yourself. Learn to recognize when you're standing in front of a reflection of who you are, who you've been, who you want to be. And just take it as that. Just take it as that. So you guys, I hope this was enough of an energy update so that I can be allowed to take a nap, because that's kind of what I wanted to do. It's supposed to be my day off. We don't believe in days off. I'd like to. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it out. Whoever you think needs these messages, send it to them. Send them the link. Share it out. Tag them, whatever. Whatever. Just do it. People need to begin really having that internal clarity. They do. And I don't say this because I think everything I say is amazing. I do think everything I say is amazing. I don't. I don't. I think a lot of the things I say is fucking hilarious, though. But there are people who are at the cusp of this aha moment, and they just needed something external to help them have that confidence to recognize and admit to themselves, I'm not just making this shit up. There's someone else out there that also thinks this. And until you've developed enough of your self-confidence, until you've healed enough of that broken self-trust, you still need some outward confirmation, and that's okay. It doesn't diminish you in any way. It's okay. All right. So love you guys. I'm out. Bye.